How you guys doing today? And welcome back to Book of Hebrew. And today we're gonna talk about Kevin Lee and his story. Ranking number 8 in the lightweight division, Kevin Lee is one of the most promising fighters in the MMA. Analyst Brendan Schaub mentioned Kevin Lee has the tools to be the next champion if he makes some changes in coaching and training. But it wasn't an easy route to success for Kevin Lee. Hardships and suffering were a big part of his life. Kevin Jesse Lee Jr. was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan on September 4, 1992, but he was raised in Detroit, Michigan. He attended Southfield High School. Growing up watching mixed martial arts on TV, he joined the high school wrestling team. Kevin mentioned in Detroit Free Press that he first thought that it was like WWE when he joined the team. Assistant coach Carl Barnes told Detroit Free Press he was a good kid and a hard worker. We call him a toolbox. He had a lot of tools in his toolbox. His mother, Cassandra Lee, works graveyard shifts, so sometimes she can't take Kevin Lee to the Saturday tournaments. And because of that, Coach Barnes would have Kevin stay the night at his place. One of the struggles he had to go through was the inability to go to the hospital because his family was underprivileged. Coach Barnes would set up appointments with the nearby school's athletic trainer to check up on his bruises and injuries. He would do anything to be one of the best wrestlers in his high school. His impressive run in high school prepped him to join the Grand Valley State Wrestling Club. It was a non-scholarship team, but this helped him to master all his techniques. He also discovered Triumph Jiu-Jitsu, where he worked on his martial arts. It was just about 15 miles away from Grand Valley State University. Unable to afford living in the campus, Kevin had to sleep on the mat with blankets in the gym. The owner, Sean Dizzy, actually didn't mind Kevin Lee sleeping in his gym, but he can't keep on the heat at night. Even with adversity, he still managed to be a great wrestler for Grand Valley State Lakers. He recorded 37 wins and 0 losses. His time of tribulation was the start of his MMA career. While he was in college, he was good at wrestling and mixed martial arts. By junior year, he left his wrestling team and moved to Las Vegas to pursue his MMA career professionally. Since I moved to Vegas in the first place, where I packed my car and start driving west, I was sleeping out of my car. Kevin Lee reminiscing about his experience after college in the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Kevin Lee joined Extreme Couture, a mixed martial arts training organization, in 2012. Robert Follis was one of his trainees in Extreme Couture. Robert trained former champion Misha Tate and UFC legend Chael Sonnen. It was a great start for Kevin Lee's MMA career with Robert Follis alongside with him. It was a rapid 7 wins and 0 loss, and he earned himself an UFC debut against Ali Akinta. It was an impressive fight on Kevin Lee's side, but he lost to Iaquinta via unanimous decision. However, it was a quick glimpse of Kevin Lee's future in UFC. Kevin won the next 9 out of the 10 fights. On October 7, 2017, Kevin Lee is fighting for interim UFC lightweight championship against Tony Ferguson, also a former Grand Valley State Laker. He had a great start. He was throwing non-stop elbows to Tony Ferguson's head. However, Kevin was going through staph infection, which is affecting his stamina. In the third round, Kevin lost to Ferguson due to triangle choke submission, a chokehold position encircling the opponent's neck and one arm with the leg. 2 months after the fight, Kevin Lee's trainer, Robert Follis, committed suicide. Rob meant a little more than just a coach. A lot of people look at my confidence and think it's always just like that. He did have a large part to play in that. Kevin told MMA Junkie Radio, a news radio for mixed martial arts. Robert Follis made a great impact in Kevin Lee's life. He didn't just train Kevin, but he also was a great support to his emotional state. Without a head coach and Robert Follis as his trainer in his corner, Kevin Lee struggled against great fighters. After the Ferguson fight, he won only 1 out of the 3 fights. He lost again to Al Quinta by unanimous decision and to Rafael dos Anjos by an arm triangle chokehold submission. Joe Rogan, a MMA analyst, mentioned on Joe Rogan Experience podcast that Kevin Lee should join Firas Zahabi's TriStar Gym. Firas is the trainer of George St. Pierre, a 2-division champion in UFC. Joe saw a similar fighting style of George St. Pierre and Kevin Lee. He joined the club and immediately made a great impact on his discipline towards the sport. According to Firas Zahabi, Kevin Lee could be the world champion because of his discipline and commitment since he joined the team. His next opponent was the undefeated Gregor Gillespie. Chael Sonnen, a former fighter and now an MMA analyst, called Gregor Gillespie a winner and a future champion. Chael Sonnen also said that Gregor Gillespie can beat the UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Coming out of 2 losing streaks, Kevin Lee's odds were not on his favor. He proved the analysts wrong and shocked the world. With 2 minutes and 13 seconds left, Kevin Lee beat Gregor Gillespie by a knockout. It was the UFC's performance of the night. On March 14, 2020, Kevin Lee will battle Charles Oliveira. Fresh out of an impressive win against Gregor Gillespie, Kevin Lee is ready to accept the challenge. Kevin Lee mentioned in UFC Unfiltered, a UFC podcast, that he will be a champion by 2021. From being homeless in college to becoming one of the most exciting UFC stars, Kevin Lee is persistence personified.